we must write the programming language statement as per the rules. Okay, what we call those rules? Syntax, as per the syntax. And semantics, semantics means meaning or the purpose of the program. Purpose of the program అని చెప్పొచ్చా? For example, we have written a program. Right, after writing program, we have compiled a program, 0 errors. Okay, after compilation, we try to execute the program. But we are unable to get the output. The program is successfully compiled without any errors, but we are unable to get the result or output. What do you mean by that? If errors were there, we can't get the output, right? As usual, normal procedure. No errors were there, but still we are unable to get the output. What is the reason? Syntax of the program is correct because no errors. Then the other issue is that we are unable to get the output means semantics of the program is incorrect. Syntax of the program is correct, but semantics of the program is incorrect, wrong. Okay, some calculation part is missing. The purpose of the program is missing. The statements related to purpose of the program, that is missing. Right? Calculation is missing. Or for example, the other case is, okay, we are expecting a output 10. We are expecting some calculation, and we are expecting an output of 10. But at the time of execution, we have got only output 9. We got the output 9, but our expected output is that 10. Then what we can say? Can we say semantic program is right? We cannot say that. We can say that semantically the program is incorrect, wrong. Right? When we execute the program, we must get the output 10 as it is, no difference. Even if we get 9.8, 9.9 also wrong. We must get 10 means 10 must be the output. Right? Even if we got 9.9, it is wrong. Right? That means some calculation is missing, somewhere the calculation is missing. Or the semantics or the purpose of the program is wrong or missing, something is missing. Okay? Remember these two words, syntax and semantics. Syntax means rules. Whatever programming statements are there, all the statements must be as per the rules, as per the procedure. And semantics means the purpose of the program, right? The purpose of the program, right? So start. Okay, that was enough. Is out of Okay, we'll start the unit 3, that is arrays. Arrays in C. Okay, please remember, keep that in mind. Programming language is easy, not tough. It is tough, it is different. Nothing will be there. All are simple concepts, small simple concepts. Right? Be a positive mind, first of all. Okay. Put the heading arrays in C. So, what do you mean by array? What is the need of an array? Okay, if I want to work with integer, right, one integer, I will declare integer a. If I want to work with two integers, okay, int a comma b or int a, int b, okay. Then if I want to work with 100 integers, what to do? Right, the problem comes. If I want to work with 1, 2 integers, no problem. Simply we can declare int a, int b. But if I want to work with 50 integers or 100 integers or 1000 integers, I cannot keep on writing a1 int a1 int a2 int a3 int a100 int a1000. 1000 lines, it becomes 1000 lines. Okay. So what is the solution for this? The solution for this is the arrays concepts. We'll take the help of arrays. Okay. Here we can store up to where we can store the same data type. Okay, in any numbers, right? For example, okay. First note on this. 5, 6, that's it. First note on this one. It is called derived types. Under this derived types, function type, first one, function type, array type, pointer type, structure type, union type, enumerator type. Just like integer type, character type, float type. Just nothing is there. Just what is the purpose of this particular type, when to use that particular type, how it is useful. That we need to understand. That's it. Nothing more than that. Finish? The remaining topics are covered in, okay, 4th chapter or 5th chapter, I think, 4th and 5th. Finish writing? And note on the definition. In C programming, an array is a collection of elements of same data type stored in contiguous memory locations of same data type. And contiguous memory locations. These two issues are there related to array. Whatever I have underlined, just note it. Don't write the remaining content. Definition, syntax, some sample, code, program. That is enough to understand, first of all, basic level. Okay? So what do you mean by same data types? Okay, same data type and contiguous memory location. What do you mean by contiguous memory location? For example, if I say int A, int B, right? How the memory is allocated? For example, A, memory location, memory address is for example 1000, and B, and its address is for example 2000 something, some number, right? For everything there is an address, right? Whatever the data, whatever the element, component, whatever it may be in a system, in a machine, right? The memory must be allocated. First issue. Before performing anything, that information must be stored. First of all, information must be stored, then process it, then produce the result. Right? Okay. For example, A's address is 1000, B's address is something 2000. Are those locations are continuous? Continuous locations are continuous memory addresses are continuous means, for example, 1000 and next address is, for example, 1004 anukundam. Assume next address is 1004. The first address is 1000. The second address is address memory location is 1004. Okay, we can say 1000 and 1004 are nearer, continuous. But here when we see these two variables, A's address is 1000, B's address is 2200. Those two locations are not continuous, somewhere else, randomly allocated memory. But when it comes to array, it says continuous location, summary locations. For example, 1000, next one 1004, next 1008, next 1012, next 1016, next address is 1020, like that. And there are continuous memory locations when it comes to array. So why this difference? 1000, 1004, 1008. One, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006. But there I mentioned 1000, 1004, 1008. What do you mean by that? Okay, this is declaration int A of 10, array declaration. Right? The name of the array is A and the type of the array is integer. And what is this 10? 10 is the size of the array. 10 elements we can store, 10 integer elements we can store. Okay, like this, for example, some 5, 10, like total 10 elements, right? Dot, some last element, some 20. Okay. When it comes to normal variable, different memory locations. But when it comes to array, continuous memory locations. Array means continuous memory locations. So what is the logic for this? Continuous memory locations, 1000, 1004, 8, all are plus 4 are there. Plus 4 endukundi. Continuous ante plus 1 undali kada. 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Plus 4. Why plus 4? Because of integer data type. For each integer, how much memory is allocated? 4 bytes are? 4 bytes na? 4 bytes of memory is allocated. 4 bytes of memory is allocated. That's why the first element is stored at 100,000. Second element, that is plus 4. Plus 4. 1000 plus 4, 1004. Second element address is 1004. The third element is 1000 plus 1004 plus 4, 8. Like all plus 4 plus 4. Right? If it is in character, how much memory is allocated for a character? For every data type, memory must be allocated. First chapter, starting data types and their memory allocation and their range. Range, what do you mean by range? Okay, when I talk about integer, how much integer we can use? What is that minimum number we can use? What is that maximum number we can use? Can we use infinite? Can we use infinite numbers in a system? Mathematics mean infinity. Infinity is there, right? Can I deal with infinity in computer system? Computer system infinity use cheyacha? Use cheyacha? Use cheyalem. Endukani? Because computer capacity is limited. The RAM, the primary memory is limited. The secondary memory is limited. Right? We can't have the infinite memory locations. Infinite memory locations unnaya? No, computer system. Only 4 GB and a maximum range of address ఉంటుంది. 8 GB ర్యామ్ అంటే మ్యాక్సిమం అడ్రస్ ఉంటుంది. 12 GB ర్యామ్ మ్యాక్సిమం అడ్రస్ ఉంటుంది. 16 GB ర్యామ్ మ్యాక్సిమం అడ్రస్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ అడ్రస్ తర్వాత మనం యూజ్ చేయలేము లొకేషన్స్. ఓకే, దెర్ ఇస్ నో ఇన్ఫినిటీ ఇన్ కంప్యూటర్ సిస్టమ్. Okay, that's why every language provides data, different data types, and for every data there is a maximum number and minimum number and maximum number we can use for that particular programming language, right? And these are the memory locations, right? For integer means 4 bytes, character means 1 byte. If I store 10 characters, what are the memory locations? 1 byte and 10, 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, like that. That's it, right? So what is that operator name? Which operator we can use so that will be knowing how much memory is allocated for a variable. ఒక వేరియబుల్ కి మెమరీ ఎంత అలొకేట్ చేసింది తెలుసుకోవాలంటే ఏం ఆపరేటర్ యూజ్ చేయాలి? వాట్ ఇస్ దట్ వన్? Myself discussed the same topic in previous session, whether I told you to write a program also. What is that one? Size of a, what is that operator name? Size of, its operator name is size of. All are small letters without space. Okay, how to write the same program? Simple program. What is that one? Just write, okay, int a, float b, and write the printf statement. Finish. Printf %d and write size of a variable name. That's it. Right? Printf same %d size of what? B. Finish. Program, simple program. Tough statements are ఉన్నాయా? ఏదైనా ఉందా? ఏమీ లేదు కదా? Okay, if I want to know how much memory is allocated for integer a, how much memory is allocated for the float value b, variable b, just write this statement. Just declare the variable, write the printf statement. Printf %d size of a, printf %d size of b. That's it. Right? Okay. That means, for example, it will display for the output for this second statement is, I think, around 6 or 8. 6 or 8 something is there. Those 4 are nothing but the bytes. 4 bytes or 6 bytes. Right? Please note down this. Size of అనేది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. ఓకేనా? చిన్న ప్రోగ్రామ్ రాయండి. డిక్లేర్ ఆల్ వేరియబుల్స్, int a, short int a, int b, float c, double d, long double e, and char ef or something, and write printf statement for all of them. Printf %d size of a, printf %d size of b, size of c, size of d, size of e, size of f. Finish. It will display how much memory is allocated for each and every data type in your system. In your system. Sometimes it may differ from one architecture to another architecture, one operating system to another, or for example, compiler to compiler. One compiler is of simple type, another compiler of complex type. Very complex compiler. Simple compiler, complex compiler. Like that. Okay? ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ రాస్తారు కదా ల్యాబ్, జస్ట్ వెరిఫై. Using arrays in C. Heading, just for an underlined statement, don't write all statements. You read it from textbook. First you try to understand the concept. All are simple concepts, one line, two line definitions, that's it. No derivation, nothing is there. C provides two different types of arrays, array types, that is fixed length and variable length array. Fixed length array, variable length array. And this is the syntax. Type space array name and in square bracket array size and semicolon. ఏదైతే అండర్లైన్ చేసామో అదే రాయండి, వేరే ఏం రాయకండి, డోంట్ వేస్ట్ టైం. Finish. The syntax is the type space name of the array and in square bracket array size. Finish. You write example also. Example, these two statements. The first one is fixed length array declaration. Second one is variable length array declaration. Int a of 10 and second one is int b of nothing. A is the name of the array and the type of data is integer and 10 is the size. 10 is the size of the array. 10 elements, 10 integers. If I want to work with 10 integers, just declare it, int a of 10. If I want to work with 1000 integers, simple, int a of 1000. That's it. No need to write 1000 statements. Int a of 1000. Float b of 1000. Char c of 1000. So what is the difference between these two statements? The first one and second one. Here we have mentioned the size of the array, that is 10 elements. Here we did not mention the size of the array, the second statement. Okay, what is that second type of statement? It is called variable length. Its size can be 0 or 1 or 10 or 50 or 100 or 1000 also, no problem. It will accept. It will accept. The variable length means it will accept 0 elements, 1 element, 10 element, 1000 element, 10,000 element, it will accept. But when it comes to first one, it will accept only 10 fixed, that's it. If you provide 11th element, it will not accept, right? And how the memory is allocated for this? Allocated. That means how much memory is allocated? 10 total. How many just are there? 40. 10 into 4, 40 bytes will be allocated. Right? If it is 1000 integer, that means 1000 into 4, 4000 bytes of memory will be allocated, right? Then what about the second one? How the memory is allocated for the second statement? We did not mention the size. It can be 0 also, it can be 1, at the time of execution, okay, at the time of execution, okay, if you keep on providing the numbers, it keep on providing the memory. If you provide one integer, it will provide 4 bytes. If you type for 10 integers, it will provide 40 bytes. If you provide 100 integers at the time of execution, 100 into 4, 400 bytes will be allocated at the time of execution. At the time of execution, okay. This is static memory allocation. The second one is dynamic memory allocation. Dynamic means runtime. Okay. Static means before execution. Dynamic means at the time of execution. At the time of execution. Static and dynamic. Static memory allocation, dynamic memory allocation. Just see some samples. Int score of 10 is there. And here we use the concept of index. How to access the members of an array. What we call index. Indexes. This number. The first number is called 0 is an index, 1 is an index, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay. So the total size is 10 and the index starts with 0. Right? Index starts with 0 and the maximum number is size minus 1, n minus 1. If the size is 10 means the maximum index is 9. If the size is 100 means the index starts from 0 to 99. 1000 means 0 to 999. Right? Remember that one. Array index always starts with 0. Okay? That means the first element is stored at this point, second element is stored at this point, third element is stored at this point. Right? Okay? Just note on this one point regarding index. Accessing elements in an array. Just note down only underlined statement. C uses an index to access individual elements of an array. For example, scores of 0. 0 means the first one, first element. First element is stored at 0 index. Finish. Next heading, storing values in an array. How many ways we can store the value in an array? 3 ways. By using initialization. The second one is by reading from the keyboard, that is scanf function, or assignment by using assignment operator. Finish. For any concept, for any topic, definition is very important. Standard definition is important. If you understand the definition, you understand the you will understand the complete topic easily for any subject. Remember that one. That's why definitions are very important. Okay, these are some of the example for initialization. Just don't write, or write only the first example for your understanding. This example. Int numbers of 5 equal to, how to initialize? Using curly brackets. Right? Curly brackets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any values. And simple. No size, the size did not mention here. That means it is variable length array. Variable length array means we can initialize 0, we can initialize with 1 or 10 or it will accept, right? It can be 5 or 6 or 10 or 100 or 1000 also, no problem. Why? Because we did not mention the size. Here there is no size. Variable length array. Then what about this third example? See this third example. Int numbers of 5, array size is 5, but only 2 values are known to us as of now. మనకు ప్రస్తుతానికి 2 values తెలుసు, మిగతా 3 values తెలియదు. I don't know about the remaining 3 values. Just I will initialize the 2 values 3, 7. How these are stored? 3 is stored, 7 is stored. The remaining are filled with zeros by default. Right? Later on we can modify it. Then what about this fourth example? Int some name, array size is 1000 and some bracket is there, bracket 0 is there. What is that one? If I want to store a single value, the array size is 1000 elements are there, 1000 integers are there. If I want to store 1000 zeros, just write a simple statement which is equal to open bracket 0, that's it. All zeros will be filled in 1000 locations. 1000 memory locations are filled with zeros, right? Okay. This is about initialization. Next one, inputting. For any program, wait for some time. What are these 3 steps? Inputting, processing and outputting. Is that right order? For any program, right? For any program or for any programming language, right? What are the minimum 3 steps we must follow? We must have the input. First input data must be stored, right? First input data must be stored. Once the storing is completed, then we will go for processing the input data. Then once the processing is completed, then the result, display the result or store the result for any program or any programming language. Okay, we must think about these 3 steps: input steps, processing steps and outputting steps. That's it, finish, program close for any programming language, right? Okay, note on this one. Inputting values. How to store the values in an array? Read the values from the keyboard or a file. This method of inputting is called using loop. How to store the values into an array? For simple variable, just write the scanf statement. Ante kada? When we declare a simple variable, we will write a simple scanf statement. But when it comes to array, we have so many number of elements will be there, right? That's why we will take the help of repetitive work. That's why we will take the help of for loop and scanf statement. In the same way, outputting also for loop and printf statement. Nothing to by heart. Simple logic. For inputting, for loop, scanf statement. For outputting, for loop, printf statement. For processing also, for loop, processing statement. For I0, I less than 10, I plus plus, scanf percent SD, ampersand, scores of I. What is this operator name? Ampersand operator. Address of. What is that one? How to read that one? Address of. Address of scores of I. Address of this particular array. I0 scores 0, I1 scores 1, I2 scores 2. Right? Reading 10 elements from the keyboard. Reading the values from the keyboard. Like that, right? This one. For example, first one is scores of 0. Next one is scores of 1, scores of 2, scores of 3. Last one is scores of 9. Right? Okay, remember this combination. Remember that combination. What is that combination for array? To store the value into an array, you must take the help of for loop. Okay, that is for loop and scanf statement. For outputting, whatever the value we have stored, okay, I want to display it. What is the procedure? For loop and printf statement. For loop and printf statement. Okay, if I want to process the array, what is the procedure? For loop and processing statement. For loop and scanf statement. For loop and processing statement. For loop and printf statement. That's it, close. This is array. దీనికి బయట చేయడం అవసరమా? ఇది బయట చేయడం అవసరమా? For loop, scanf, for loop, processing statement, for loop, printf statement. Finish. Right? Next, assigning the values. Next heading, small. This is one example. This is one example. This is another. Value 23 is scores of 4 means fifth element. First element is at 0 index. If I want to change or modify a particular element of an array, just take the help of assignment. Okay, value 23 is assigned to scores of 4. It is assigned to scores of 10, 9 or 10 for example. What is that second example? What we are doing for second example? Second example ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? For loop is there, some processing statement is there, right? What we are doing? First of I is assigned to second of I. That means we are copying first. For example, 2 arrays are there. This is first array and this is the second array. Indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dot dot dot. First array, second array. So what we are doing with this statement? For I value 0, I 0 and I is less than 25, 0 is less than 25 true, then first of 0 is assigned to second of 0. అంతే కదా I value 0 ఉంది కదా ఇక్కడ స్టార్టింగ్ లో 0 0 first of 0 is assigned to second of 0. For example, first value 5 అనుకోండి 5, some 10, 15, some 20 are there. Now what we are doing with this statement? It is statement. First of 0 is assigned to second of 0. What is that first of 0? 5. 5 is stored here. Copy. Again, next one, next iteration. I equal to 1. I equal to 1. 1 is less than 25. True or false? True. Again, first of 1 is assigned to second of 1. First of 1 value 10. 10 is stored at this place. Next, I value 2. That is first of 2 is assigned to second of 2. 15 is copied. One statement, just all copying is done. Right? And what about the third example? Third example, ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? I into 2 equal to scores of 0. I value 0 ఉంది కదా 0 into 2, then 1 into 2, 2 into 2, 3 into 2, 4 into 2, till less than 10 అంటే 9 into 2. 0 into 2 నుండి 9 into 2 వరకు all the values will be stored in scores of I, right? Write a C program to create an array with square of index and print it. Okay, don't write this statement. Directly square array of directly we can write 5. Array size is 5. Here write 5. Okay, these statements are common. Just write this statement 1 for loop and this one processing and display. This is display statement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write these statements on. The remaining are common. I include studio.h, int main void, bracket open, main block open, and return 0, closing bracket. All these statements are known to us. Int square array of size 5, just for loop, for I 0 less than 5 plus plus, square I into I, and combination. Inputting combination statement, outputting combination statement. For loop square, for loop printf. I less than 5, here also write 5, I plus plus printf, I comma sqr array of I. Okay, before this program, just you write create an array, store the values it, and display the values of an array. Simple program, right? In your laboratory, in your lab session, just create an array, then store the values into the array and display the same values, right? Don't forget that combination: storing for loop and scanf, for displaying for loop and printf. If any processing is there, it is also same for loop and processing statement. Here I have the for loop and processing statement. This one, for loop and processing statement. It is a combination ante. For I0, I comma sqr area of I.
Bluetooth mode.
Just we are performing square of I value, index value. Index 0 means 0 square, index 1 means 1 square, 2 means 2 square, 3 means 3 square. That's why we have 0 square 0. Finish? Don't write all statements. The remaining statements are common, right? Include radio, int main, block open, return 0, closing brackets, all are common. Next one, inter-function communication. And our unit 5 is a function. Unit 5, as of now, just note on the definition. Inter-function